This episode of the Get Snap podcast is being brought to you by W, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. If you're looking for an energy drink that contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors, then W is the drink for you. Plus, it's formulated to give you the focus and the energy you need with no jitters or no crashing. So what are you waiting for? Use the link down in the description box. Use the promo code BADSupermanTV and get 10% off. You'll thank me later. And on that note, hey Smooth, go and hit our theme music. What is going on, everybody? I know it's been a long time coming, but we are back and we are better than ever. I had to bring that old Chicago Bulls intro in because every time I hear it, it just get me pumped up. Man, me won't go put a jersey on and go down and pretend I'm one of the Bulls, but that'll never happen. But it is the Get Snap podcast. We are back, as I said. It is your boy, DarnellSparrow, a.k.a. the Bad Superman, the notorious one, Antoine Smooth is with me. What's going on?
Man, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, it's been a minute. Been about a good 6 weeks. They've been saying, where y'all been? When y'all coming back? Did you get canceled?
Nah.
No, we didn't not get canceled. Just life just happens. We had to take some time, had to take a break, but we are back. Hopefully we get through this with no issue, because you know technology can get you sometime.
Oh yeah, always,
But,
man.
But a lot to talk about. A lot has been going on. I ain't even break out the notes because what I want to talk about don't even know we're gonna, so much didn't happen. But we got to jump right in it. I mean, if you haven't saw it on social media, it's pretty much breaking news. Tiny Lister, formerly known to you young buck as Debo from Friday, but
Right.
from the older kids like myself and the notorious one, we knew him as Zeus from No Holds Barred.
That's right.
Passed away, I believe 62 years old, 63 years old. I mean, it came out of nowhere. This 2020, man, we losing everybody. Like I said, we lost Pat Patterson, first ever Intercontinental Champion, recently. I mean, some crazy times, but we're gonna talk about Zeus for a minute. When you first saw Zeus, what did you think?
Man, when I first saw him, I'm like, man, this dude here is scary. Is he actually, a wrestler? I'm thinking he was a wrestler. They signed this guy, and I'm telling you, when I first saw him on Saturday Night Main Event, standing on them steps, man, that was intimidating. I said, they bringing the movie to the wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
And that was rare back then.
That was very rare. Uh-huh.
That was rare back then. I just wish they would have did more with him.
Right.
I mean, let them beat us some jobbers on Superstars and Wrestling Challenges. I think that really could have went further than it did. Like I said, they had the no holds barred cage match.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Survivor Series, but he didn't last very long. Just had a handful of matches. But now the question is, and should he go in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that right there, Hogan was already elevated, at this time. But putting Zeus and him together just made it even better. No Holds Barred is a classic. That alone should go into the Hall of Fame, definitely.
No doubt. Now should he go in as Zeus the wrestler or as Tiny Lister celebrity wing?
Probably, I think knowing WWE, I think they'll give him celebrity wing.
I would say me, and they would, but they got to put him as Zeus the wrestler.
Yeah.
Because Zeus, what they want to say tonight, Zeus made Hogan big at the time.
Yeah.
He made Savage look real good. That big dude with Sherry.
Yeah, that steel cage match they had, it was one of my favorites. It was,
which I actually have which I actually have that event on one of my external hard drives. That whole no holds barred event.
Right.
I actually have it.
I love that.
And just looking at it, I was like, man. But let's talk about all the stuff that's been going on. I mean, we just had NXT War Games.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the big things you saw coming out of that?
Well, undisputed. Surprisingly, like I said, Pat McAfee. Man, look, this dude is impressing me each and every time. This dude can talk. He can actually. I mean, he went through it. You know.
And sold it on his radio show.
Yeah, sold on his radio show and everything. Barely could talk. Yeah. He was talking about he was talking about the man. He was also talking about before then he was like talking about Dak Prescott's situation right now, but he was selling the injury. You know what I mean? Like he was like Yeah.
See, that's what in today's especially with wrestling,
right?
That's what's missing.
Right.
If you're gonna go out something like that, you can't go out to your other job like nothing happened.
Exactly.
It's like he was built for this.
Yeah.
So I know he's gonna do more. I mean he did
a Triple H.
I mean he did awesome work.
I think he said in his conference call he did that Pat McAfee, he got a deal already, so it's on a per show basis, So
right,
yeah. So like I said, he reminded me a lot of Shane when he came out. Shane surprised me, So
most definitely. Mm-hmm. I definitely want to see McAfee Cole too.
Oh yeah,
I do want to see it. I do want to see it. Now let's talk about the women's side. Now a couple things on that kind of interest me. One, the baby faces actually had the advantage.
Yeah.
And when the last time that happened? Was that the first? I think that was the first time that ever happened.
Right. So
babyface got the advantage and they still lost.
Right. So McAfee's team had the advantage, so it was only fitting for the babyface team to have one, so it could balance out. But it was a good match. I loved that one. I mean, Shotzi and all the rest of them, everybody worked their tail off, man. It was good. I loved it.
Marcel Gonzalez, she straight put she pinned the women's champion through the ladder.
Right.
Now the question is it her time?
Yeah,
is it Gonzalez time?
I mean, I think it is, because how they do it. They pin the women's champion, they get a title shot. Know what I'm saying? But I figured that it'll be a good match, but I don't think she's gonna win it. I think Dakota's next in line. I think Dakota should be the next champion.
So we pretty much just said we pretty much gave up on
I'm not giving up on Raquel.
Rhea Ripley. Yeah, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, not giving up on Rhea Ripley, but they act like they don't know what to do with her.
She has to. That's why they need to just go send her. They keep saying send her to Raw. They might well just go and do it because I don't really think she has nothing else to prove in NXT.
Not really.
Yeah, I really don't.
I just hope they use her right.
Exactly. Let's talk about. Let's see. I'm gonna jump around. Let's talk about Kenny Omega, Impact World Champion. I'm sorry, AEW World Champion, going to Impact.
It may happen though.
Now here's the thing. For those that don't know, if you don't have Access TV, you can watch Impact Wrestling on Twitch on Tuesday night. So if you didn't know that, they did mention that. So I got a chance to see, Impact Wrestling, and that's really gonna that boost their ratings big. They went from 16,000 viewers on Twitch. They went 3 times that.
Yeah.
When Kenny Omega was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I would definitely want to see some dream matches on there.
Oh, him and Rich Swann could tear it down, no doubt about it.
I said the only thing I was disappointed about is they pretty much cut the same promo on Dynamite.
Yeah.
They pretty much cut the same promo.
Yeah. He was announcing some big surprise or something, and that never happened.
Never happened.
Well.
Well, they pretty much bringing reality because all that stuff he said about his uncle, all that was true. Kenny Omega did train Don Callis.
That's true.
It's on you. You can go look that up.
Yep. That's his uncle
And
with
I
the
think
sheep.
this, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think, and one of the things, this role is meant for Don Callis because he about to make Kenny Omega look like a megastar.
Oh my God, if not already.
He's bringing back that old cleaner,
Yeah.
and if he's doing the belt collector thing, I just hope he do it better than when Austin Aries did it.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, he's still the AAA Mega Champion. I think he's about to defend that this weekend against I believe the Laredo Kid.
Yeah, he a busy man.
I think he want to go. Yeah, because remember, Austin Aries he was promotions all over the world, and he bought all those belts to Impact.
And Kenny needs
I
to do
think
that.
it'll fit Kenny Omega better.
Right. And on that, man, the relationship between AEW and Impact and then the NWA too, that's something to see. You talking about dream matches.
Oh yeah. So we definitely got to stay posted. I mean, because Impact, they have a show, the Final Resolution this Saturday on Impact Plus. I'm curious to see Chris Bay and Rich Swann go at it.
Oh, they're gonna tear the house down.
I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
Since we talking about AEW, I mean, you saw it, I saw it, the world saw it. He is back. Sting is back,
man,
on TNT. Now I was a little shocked. I said, okay, they bringing the snow in. I said, this better not be Glacier.
What? Oh my God!
I'm about to say Glacier. I say Glacier getting this big old intro.
Yeah, they say he's still working.
Oh yeah, he's still working.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's still working.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though.
I said Sting had the most merch sold within 24 hours. I'm gonna be one of them, so I'm getting that shirt.
Oh yeah, that shirt looks good.
I mean, for being over 60 years old,
right.
You know, I think he pretty much told the story what he wants to do because they say he's there got a multi-year deal.
Yeah,
he's not just there just to be there. So we're gonna send him in some matches.
Right. Of course, the action figures coming in the video games and stuff like that.
I just want to see what he's gonna do with Darby Allin. Is he gonna team with? Is he gonna be like a mentor to him?
They probably be both, tagging and mentor, I believe.
I want to see what that's gonna go. It look like Cody wanted to work with him, so I could see Cody, Darby, and Sting in a 6-man. I don't see him doing too much one-on-one. They got to protect him.
And then Sting was telling him this is my business. I ain't got to tell you what I'm doing.
Right. So that could be a good heel turn for Cody.
Right.
We definitely got a posted. So, Sting and AEW, let's talk about Team Taz. Now, did you like the name the name change of Will Hobbs, the Powerhouse Hobbs?
That's actually, I like that though. It gives him a heel name. Will Hobbs. That's like regular. You give him Powerhouse Hobbs.
I say so. We didn't had Hard Work Bobby Walker.
There you go.
Hard Body Hair.
Yep.
Hardcore Havoc. Now we got Powerhouse Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs. Yes. Very impressive.
But it's something we talked about a long time ago. These dark guys, they'll come in there and they'll lose match, but at some point, that's pretty much an audition tape for them.
Pretty much.
That's all that is, and it's worked for a few of them.
Right, like my new favorite tag team on AEW, the Varsity, the Varsity Blondes.
The Varsity Blondes.
Yes.
Rick Grayson and Brian Pillman Jr., who is, by the way, the new OVW heavyweight champion, by the way.
Congrats to Brian Jr., man. Awesome.
For those who didn't know that, he did do it.
Yeah.
I said the Varsity Blondes.
I said okay.
That's interesting.
I think Brian had a vision for that. I think he wanted to keep that going because, of course, his father and Steve Austin were the Hollywood Blondes, and I think they could have went further. They could have went. They could have went a lot further.
They would. Oh no, they should never broke them up.
No. They could have went a lot further.
Oh, most definitely. Well, let's jump ahead. We got TLC coming up.
Yeah.
We pretty much know where this is gonna go. So I'm gonna jump past that because there's the rumor going around. Goldberg's been talking.
Yeah.
So there's that possibility we gonna see Roman and Goldberg, which we should have saw at WrestleMania at the Rumble.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man, look, Roman has gone to change. Roman is the tribal chief. He's the head of the table now. This ain't the same Roman we had a couple of 2-3 years ago.
This ain't bulletproof. This ain't bulletproof vest. This ain't shield Roman.
Right. So they got to approach this a different way.
Yeah, because you bad when you in a match, you beat up Kevin Owens and you still beat up Jey Uso with the chair.
I didn't understand that at first, but I saw what he was doing. I'm like, why is he beating up Jey for? Teaching him a lesson.
Yeah, I'm like, cause one man you want him to step up. When he step up, he just do because they kind of. I'm not that they kind of making him look like a joke because at some point he gonna snap.
Yeah, he is.
At some point.
Mm-hmm.
But this might actually benefit him.
Just toughen him up
in the long run.
Yeah.
But the question is this: if Roman ever dropped that title, who gonna beat him?
Man, who can?
It's gonna have to be Drew. Drew McIntyre gonna have to go to SmackDown and beat him.
That's you're right. Because he's the only option I see.
I said he gonna have to, because they can either play around with the WWE title.
Right.
I'm thinking he might lose that if they do Elimination Championship. I'm thinking he might lose it then.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Especially if Edge get well enough, they're gonna put the belt right back on Orton.
Right.
And him and Edge could do their thing.
Right.
But speaking of that, Fiend and Randy Orton. Are you digging the storyline on that?
Yeah, I'm digging it. Mind game between both. I saw this coming. Alexa's gonna definitely play a factor in this, no doubt. She's not to say she's playing both of them, but you could say she kind of playing both of them, but she's still with the Fiend, but at the same time she playing Randy too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. See, this is that time where they cannot drop the ball on Bray Wyatt.
Mm-mm.
You cannot drop the ball. I mean, Orton already beat him, what, twice?
Mm-hmm.
Already beat him twice. Then you would have tag champions together. This is the time you gotta make the Fiend look good.
Right.
Got to.
Yeah.
But you know what? We got that time. We didn't. We got to talk about it. I should have started the show with it.
What's that?
But we got to talk about it. Let's go back a couple weeks. Let's talk about that Mike Tyson pay-per-view. Did you happen to see it?
I saw highlights of it. Really, to be honest, Tyson still got it. Roy just kept holding
about Tyson. I think Tyson was really letting up because he was doing more body shots because he could have knocked Roy out if he wanted to. Because he was throwing with him. I think he could have won a couple. He wanted to go to. They went to 8 rounds. Would have given him 2 more rounds.
Man,
Roy was taking them. You can't take too many. Then on top of that, he was high.
Man, Roy was scared. I don't blame him.
And he kept saying I was like, you can't take them shots. I mean, did you watch the training tape, Roy?
Man, Tyson was beasting in them videos.
But you got to think about it. It's just legends.
Yeah, Tyson is just naturally athletic. I'm
gonna lay off time for a minute. We're gonna come back to him. We gotta talk about your boy. We went from Lil Nate to Po Nate.
Oh,
he got knocked out like Lil Mac get knocked out in Mike Tyson's punch out.
Man, you talk about going to the upper room.
I might say so. He can't never go pick a fight.
He cannot. I mean, Jake
You
Paul
can.
really. Oh God.
I'm like, and now I think his brother Logan is gonna be fighting Mayweather.
I think I
You
don't
know
know about that one.
that's gonna be a boxing lesson 101.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the easiest money Floyd ever made.
Oh yeah. At least with Conor McGregor gave him somewhat of a fight.
Right. And then speaking that, Jake talking about he want Conor. I'm like,
Man.
now you're reaching.
Yeah, he reaching big time.
I'm like, you reaching.
Right. Come on, man.
I'm like, you knocked Neil late, a little late. Well, he was
Yeah,
a little
you were
late
a little
too.
late, yeah.
Like, getting up. You're a little late getting
Yeah.
up, but Lil Nate, I gotta give him credit. He went in there and did
Boy,
it. And he been taking the
oh
insults.
yeah, he went to the
But
upper room
I
that
give him
night.
that. You can't talk about who you gonna beat up. You can't talk down to no girl.
Yeah, just like Snoop said, you can play basketball, you can't play boxing.
And speaking of that, MVP of the night. The MVP of the night was Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah, Snoop can commentate.
I gotta say this. I want to know who sponsored this because I heard so much profanity and the N-word so much. Man, who sponsored this? Show Small Liquor?
It could have been, but you know it's
the Weed Man. Who sponsored this?
I mean, because you know it's pay-per-view, so they can say anything.
I'm like all the rappers. I'm like, I heard the N-word about 137 times. Right. I'm like, I thought I was watching Django.
These celebrities better watch it, because next thing you know, you talking about somebody reaching, they going to call out somebody like Anthony Joshua or something. You forget that.
Oh, I'm like, no, y'all, I'm like, that's too much. I'm like, this is legends. Because, you know, Holyfield already said he want a piece now.
Holyfield know where he at.
I mean, not.
I mean, Riddick, the fight he did with Riddick Bowe, that messed him up.
Yeah, it did. He looked like he in some good shape too now. I'm like, get Lennox Lewis out there.
Yeah, Lennox look like he in shape too. Yeah.
I'm like, if it's all legends, go get, because Shannon Briggs, he talking mess.
Tyson.
All of them is. All of them want a piece.
Why not?
But where was all y'all back in the 80s and the 90s?
Why not? Go for it. I'll see it.
All right, because I got to see it. I said, it make you want to love boxing again.
You, man.
And these old dudes. All I'm going to do is just say, Nate, I'm like, let this be your one and done.
I thought Pacquiao's knockout.
Don't do it. Unless you fighting, unless they going to pull Glass Joe out of retirement.
Oh, my God.
They pull Vaughn Case, any of them out of retirement. King Hippo,
Piston Honda, all of them.
Piston Honda. If you could get Doc Lewis to train you, then you need to work on your crank up.
I'm talking about Mr. Sandman and Super Macho Man, all of them.
Oh no, that's too nice.
That's too much. That's too much.
He can't go past the second Piston.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't go past
that. That's right,
that.
Yeah, that's too much.
You once you get past that, I mean, so the Pompisky, and when you start getting past the second Piston Honda, that's when you need to stop.
All right, I got you.
I'm like, no.
That's too well.
Like, nah, but let's get into some questions, because we were supposed to do this one a long time ago.
Oh, man.
So, the topic was we were supposed to be talking about the 3 most devastating letters.
Oh, yeah, I said it.
And
it was the RKO at first.
It's not the RKO, but we are talking about WCW. We are talking about World Championship Wrestling. You know, normally, we do this on a Wednesday. I don't even know today is. I've been trapped in this house so long. It's Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday. Like it's football on.
Yeah.
So we're going to do like a day ahead on these Q&A. But we talking about WCW. We had some classic questions. A lot of interesting questions. I'll run through them. You might have to challenge your mind a little bit on this.
All right.
Ready to roll?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
All right, the first question was brought in. The question is, what did you think of Beautiful Bobby Eaton as a single wrestler?
At first I was kind of on the fence on that, because normally I've known him mostly as a tag team. Even going back to Memphis, he teamed up with Coco Beware. Yes, he did team up with Coco.
Yep,
No pad of
that
no
was
pad
First
of the
Panther
moment
days,
right
wasn't
there.
it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep. Oh,
That
Notepad. Forgot about the Notepad
no
moment.
pad moment right there. He teamed up with Coco Beware when he first started. And then later, he of course he teamed up with Dennis Condrey, when they went over to the NWA. And of course, we all know he teamed up with Sweet Stan Lane. He mostly a tag wrestler. The singles thing, I was kind of the fence on. I think he could have been successful. Well, he was a little bit television champion. Held it for a little bit, so it was okay. It was all right. But mostly he's a
Yeah,
tag
it
guy.
was.
You know,
Yeah, I agree. It was
it was
weird
weird.
to see him as a single, especially as he got older.
Right,
Because they like I said, they didn't really know what to do with him. Then I said, Bobby, one of those dudes. Tag wrestling is his thing,
right.
and he'll probably tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said he did win the TV belt. Correct me if I'm wrong. He lost it to Steve
Oh,
Austin,
Steve Austin. Uh-huh.
and that one Steve Austin was still pretty much in his I ain't gonna say rookie
Rookie.
days. He was still new to the game, and now we know him as Stone Cold.
Right.
But yeah, it was weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna move on to the second question. And this talks about Barry Windham.
Okay.
And this talks about should Barry Windham have won the WCW title in 1991 at the Great American Bash?
Whew, that's a tough one there. Oh God, Barry Barry was so good. You know, back then he could have, but at the time Luger was the bigger star. You know, so they really wanted to push Luger, which I can understand. Um, Barry just coming off the Four Horsemen. I guess they were trying to test run him as a single star. You know what I'm saying? Which he was successful at it. And of course he teamed up with
Oh yeah,
Dustin.
no doubt.
He teamed up with Dustin. They was a tag team, pretty good tag team actually, real good tag team.
Yeah, unified tag
Right.
champs.
But at the time,
I mean,
yeah, Luger was the star then. You know what I'm saying? Luger was the guy. So
I think at that time they should have given him the
think
run
so.
because at the time Luger was the United States champion anyway.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons they did it, I think, is because of Harley Race.
Yeah.
I think if Harley Race wouldn't have been in that picture, I think Wyndham would have won that title. They just basically revamped Luger, which again
It
it
needed
worked.
that. Yes. Luger went from two,
I think he needed
and he
that.
got bigger. He went from 275 to 286.
It was like 290 something when he fought
Ron Simmons.
Ron
Yeah.
Simmons. We already knew Luger was ego tripping,
Right.
and the fact that he had Harley Race, he had Mr. Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only reason why that worked. But me personally, I think he should have won it that night, especially around that time, them early 90s. Wyndham was
Right.
hot.
That's true.
Wyndham was hot because he won the title in
Now he
'93
beat Great Mood at Super Brawl 3.
when he beat me. And at that time, I thought it was too late.
Right. It was because they said the NWA and WCW had kind of a falling out. A working relationship. Yeah.
And he didn't really have the good fuse.
No.
Okay, I think he defended one against Too Cold. He defended one against Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
He lost to Flair, which that was pretty much was a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
So at that time, he pretty much was the transitional champion.
And then of course Flair dropped it to Rude later that year.
All right. Let's go on to the next question since we mentioned Ron Simmons talking about Halloween Havoc. Let's talk about that. What do you think of that Chamber of Horrors match? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, pretty much was the opening match of Halloween Havoc 91. It was Sting, Elegante, and the Steiners against Abdullah the Butcher, the Diamond Stud, Cactus Jack, and Vader. That pretty much ended when Abdullah Butcher got belly to belly in the chair. They flicked the switch and he pretty much got fried.
Yeah. So.
Now, would you consider that one of the worst cage matches?
I think so. Um, you're looking back on as a kid, you don't think about that. You think, oh wow, that was great. You know what I mean? Abdul the Butcher, but
Right.
now you look back at it like, man, that was pretty bad. I mean, Abdullah
Yeah,
did really
it
didn't
was.
get fried. You know, if he would have got fried, you could tell. You know,
Right. I'm like, it's like some bad, like they just jumped in the ring and said, we're just gonna
yeah,
fight and hope for the
yeah,
best. Because if you remember, I think McFoley mentioned it didn't even go off when it was
right.
supposed to. So they kind of had to milk it a little bit.
Hmm. They could have just left that out,
But
just
yeah, I
had a
think that was
regular cage match, and that would have been straight.
right. You want to do just straight weapons or something
Yeah,
like that, but yeah, that was pretty
yeah.
bad. So next question. Now this might have you thinking. I ain't even get a chance to think about it because this probably is gonna be a tough one. Most underrated tag team in WCW.
It's gonna take a minute, man. Oh
Yeah, this is tough.
my goodness. Let's see.
This
Most underrated tag team. This may be on a
yeah,
whim here, but the Wild
yeah.
Eyed Southern Boys,
Well,
the Tracy Smothers,
now Southern Boys or
the
young
Southern
pistols.
Boys, the Tracy Smothers and Steve
'Cause
Armstrong. Those two there, man, they don't get the credit. They was a real good team. You know, when looking back now, I didn't realize how good they were,
oh
man. They
yeah,
was over. Now, when they came to Young Pistols from Wyoming or whatever, I didn't understand that. But when they was the Wild Eyed Southern Boys, they was over, man. They don't get the credit they deserve.
right.
I know there's a lot
Because
more.
when they
Yeah,
I know because when they came to WCW, no, they was known like in that Tennessee area, that Alabama
right,
area. They was winning all those regional championships, so they had a
right,
name. So when they got to Atlanta,
right,
you know, they actually got that name, which it made sense. They were the Southern Boy, they were in the South,
right.
made sense.
There's a lot of underrated tag team,
But
man. That could be all day.
right, I can't really think of a good one. I think one that should have got more. But I think at the time, they were still kind of young. Was Pillman and the Z
Yeah,
Man?
that baby face.
I said they did win,
Yeah, they did.
and I said they did win the US
Yeah,
tag belts for a stint. But then they just like that, they pretty much broke them up.
yeah. They had. They were trying to get into the female demographic, putting them together.
And
Yeah,
pretty much,
the pretty boy putting two pretty boys together. Yeah,
Pillman again was one of those dudes. I mean, Z Man wasn't as hot, but
yeah.
Pillman was. Let's go on to the next one. What were your thoughts on War Games?
I was talking about the old school war games.
Yeah, the
Oh,
old school
okay.
War Games.
Um, I liked them. You know, they was different, unique. Each one of them was unique. Arn Anderson always started war games every
Yep.
single time, which that's tradition. So but yeah, I enjoyed them. Even though even the ones in mid 90s. Uh, the one in '96 was my favorite one of all time. The NWO in
Hmm.
WCW. That was my favorite one. You know,
That's the one when Henning
yeah.
hit the
No, that
door.
was '97. Yeah, that was
Okay,
another good one
99.
too.
Okay.
That was another good one. Yeah. '96 and '97 were my favorite ones. '96 was the one where, the NWO just formed, and
Hmm.
was it Hogan, Nash, or the Hall, and it was the fake Sting then.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. And when
And
Sting
Sting
came
came in.
in, he cleared house and just
Right.
walked out on him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Now I'm with you. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what I think about the War Game back then. The War Game back then was tailor made for the Horsemen. That was pretty much their thing. Between the Horsemen, Dusty, the Royal Wars, and Nikita, you couldn't have another
Yeah.
War Game. When they were doing the Bash On tour, think about that. You doing the War Games pretty much every night or every
Man.
other night. That was tailor made
Right.
for them. I think the one of the ones I wasn't really feeling. I would have to say the one with Dustin and the Nasty
Oh, when it
Boys.
was against Harlem Heat and where the Colonel Parker was in it. Yeah.
That name was Colonel Parker's crew.
Y'all Bunkhouse
Now,
Buck and all the
that wasn't
Bunkhouse Buck and
that was that wasn't a good one. The one with Harlem Heat and the Shockmaster. No, that wasn't a good one. Yeah, cause like when you do war games, that's pretty much where your top names need to be in. And like I said, back in the 80s, the Horseman was in it. The Horseman was in it. Now they actually did one, if I recall, when the Freebirds was actually in it. Then was like a house show one, if I'm not mistaken.
Didn't Russell Ward 91 have one or 92?
Yep, Russell 91. That's when Pillman got power bombed.
Yeah, that's right.
When Sid Vicious power bombed the crap out of him.
That's right.
Let's see here. What we got on the next question? They said, during the Great American Bash on tour, Ric Flair defended the NWA title pretty much that whole month of that tour. Did you agree with that?
Rick was the man. You know, Rick had to. I mean, Rick was the hottest thing back then. I mean, hot. So he had to do it. I mean, Rick was the star.
You got to think about it. And what made that good on a lot of those tours, he wasn't defending against the same person every time. He may do it maybe once or twice, but think about it. Dudes like Ricky Morton, getting world title shots. Jimmy Garvin getting world title shots. And Ricky Morton actually looked good wrestling Flair one-on-one. And that was the time when he had the broken nose. His face when they rammed his face on the concrete and busted him up, and he still went out there and competed and still looked good doing it.
Oh yeah,
but you can't do that now.
Yeah, lots changed since then.
Right. Let's see what we got here. I think you might like this one. What were your thoughts on Buff Bag? Well, we ain't gonna call him Mark. We're gonna call him Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh my goodness, that tag team there. You talk about two different personalities right there. You talking about opposites. Opposites attract.
Opposites attract.
Them two there was the ones. He had to teach Bagwell how to dance, so I saw that. That was pretty funny. But yeah, they was a good tag team actually.
Now we talked to them. Go back to the previous question. Were they underrated?
I wouldn't put that. I wouldn't say that. Underrated. And no, I can't say that. Not really. They was a good team. I don't know about underrated though.
I said they won the WCW tag belt, lost them the next night in my backyard.
Because Scorpio at the time was the star then. Marcus was just getting getting himself there, but Too Cold was the star then. Yeah.
And speaking of that, that's not even on the question, but that's something about why you think he never won a singles.
I don't understand that TV title at least. He been a great TV champion. Oh yeah, I don't understand that.
I'm like, he was super over. I mean, he said he did get the WCW tag belt, but they lost him right back to the Nasty Boys.
That's when Missy High was with him, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they talked about the issues they had as a team on a personal note. I don't know if they somewhat squashed it or not, but they talked about they said some harsh things about each other at all. I remember though, those were them days. They were young. I mean, wrestling wise, and they could have did some great things because Marcus Bagwell back then, he was young. To me, he was determined. I mean, they put him with some big names. Sting took him under his wing.
Was the boy? So he rookie of the year, 92.
Definitely got a lot of time. They came around that 91, 92
he was rookie of the year then. Yeah.
Yep. So, we talking about overrated and underrated. Now we're gonna talk about one. If you think he was overrated, Johnny B. Bad.
Oh, was you said Johnny was overrated?
Well, no, was Johnny B.
No,
Bad
I don't
overrated?
think so. I actually like Johnny B. Bad. When when Teddy had him, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
When Teddy had him,
yeah.
I liked him. Not to say I didn't like him after he was Teddy, I still did. But that oh hush Teddy was gone. You know what
That
I'm
little,
saying?
that tutti
Yeah, that
frutti
little
little
Richard was
Richard,
gone. Right.
Johnny B.
He just
Bad.
was, normal Johnny. He was pretty much like Mark Miro. I say that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Good mother, you
I like the tutti frutti, oh hush Teddy, Johnny. Yeah. But I don't think he was overrated. It was
like
just,
I said, because
it,
I said they put the
yeah, it was
TV
a
belt
good
on
television
him.
champion.
Well, a couple times. Yeah, lost it to Luger, and that's
Mm-hmm.
when he went on to
Yep.
WWE. Was
For
that a
him going to
mistake?
WWE, I think so. Yes, he did win the Intercontinental title, but that star power was kind of gone after he became marvelous. Then, he was.
Well, but you know what? When we talked about it. We talked about before. He
That's
numbered the
all he was,
transition.
and that's sad. He was, and I
He's a
like him.
transitional
I
champ
liked him. It was sad to see him go through that. It was like Vader,
because he. Oh,
right?
we ain't gonna talk about that. That was
That's
a disaster
right.
waiting to happen. Let's go on to the next question. Do you miss the tournament style pay per views like the Crockett Cup and the Pat O'Connor Memorial Tag Team Tournament? And if so, should they ever bring that
Shoot,
back?
why not? I mean,
Which in actuality they did. The NWA actually bought the
yep.
Crockett Cup back, which I didn't even think about that before I asked that. But because COVID, COVID just
Hmm.
screwed that up.
Yeah, they did.
But they
Yeah,
need to do that more. Like the
yeah.
Bunkhouse
I think
Stampede.
Billy Corgan was talking about bringing that back, bring the Bunkhouse Stampede back. He talked about bringing Luster. See, he's a true fan. You know, he remembers all of this stuff, like the stuff. He's the president, so he knows about how the NWA works. You know what I mean? And so he knows
Right.
about the Bunkhouse Stampedes and the Crockett Cups and all that. He said he been watching that since what 82, something like that, when it was Mid Atlantic in Georgia
Right.
Championship Wrestling. So yeah.
And to get the and to
Hmm.
jump off topic, like I said, I don't know if you saw Impact, but I loved what Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone did when they did the paid advertisement on Impact, but they had that old school Mid
Right.
Atlantic background with the Mid
Hmm.
Atlantic writing.
I
I said,
like
now
that.
that's what
And
I'm
he
talking
and he
about.
said, Tony, didn't you actually work here? He said, yeah, I quit after one day, something like that.
He, he said I quit after one day, but it was out of
After
wrestling for
that, yeah,
18 years
uh
after
huh,
that. I
yeah, that
said now that
was
was
dope.
dope right there. I said
Yeah,
took
it
me
took me
back.
back a little bit. Yeah, that was dope.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next question. Now we talked about Brian Pillman Jr. We talked about Brian Pillman. Was he a better face or a heel?
I think he was both. I think he was better both. Be honest, he could work both. I mean, when he come out, the crowd went crazy when Brian Pillman came out. As heel, they hated his guts. Now,
I said because because I think he first turned
92
heel
with
what
him and Austin.
92
Yeah,
around the light.
before. That's
No,
right.
before that, 'cause I think he could do around that light heavyweight title tournament when he
Yeah, that's
slapped
right. Yeah, that
Brad
was before
Armstrong.
Austin. Yeah. Uh huh. Right.
I think Pillman one of those dudes. He just kind of
Yeah.
went with the
He like
times,
if you need me,
and then he went back
right?
babyface like
Because he was
'95
like, if you need me for this, I'm here.
because he had that stupid blondes have
Yeah.
more fun theme song.
But that loose cannon,
Did him being in the Did him being in the Horseman work for you? And if so, What could have been better?
That you know what that did work actually. Pillman looked like he could be in the Horseman. You know, him and Bill Wall was like perfect for each other. You know, I noticed that they had a chemistry. You know, and yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
would have worked out. And especially him doing the loose cannon gimmick, that would have been even better. You know, he was growing into the loose cannon when he went with Benoit. Him and Benoit teamed up. You know.
Did you like the slap? When
Oh
Arnett just
yeah.
slapped the taste out his mouth?
That was good television there, man. Pillman really showed himself then. Yeah. Especially when they did him and Kevin Sullivan had that respect match. When he said, I respect you, Booker man. Yeah,
Oh,
man. You talking
ooh,
about breaking the fourth wall. Yeah.
fourth wall.
That worked out a lot though. It could have been better. They could have kept them together, but I already know that the horsemen were transitional. So yeah.
Right. Let's see what else we got. Rick Rude. Should Rick Rude have been the actual WCW champion instead of the
Yeah, he
international
should have
champion?
been. He deserves a heavyweight title. After that, after SummerSlam 1990, which I believe he should have won that title, and everybody I know agreed with me on that. Even though the Warrior was hot then, I understand that. You know, the Warrior, it would have made
It would
sense.
have made sense.
But yeah, him beating and then he beat Ric Flair on top of that. I just hated it was the international title instead of
Yeah.
the WCW title. You know what I mean? And then him beating Ric Flair was the
Yeah,
icing
I
on the
was like,
cake. Yeah,
because I remember I think at the time he was like the Southern champion, and then they converted over to the
yeah.
world class heavyweight title. You know, he was already what NWA World Tag Team
With
Champion
Manny Fernandez.
once with
Mm-hmm.
the Raging Bull, the
Well,
two R&R. I think he had. And people argue this, but I mean, you got to look at the stats. He was championship wise, being in the WCW like
right.
NWA was better for him. I think he got a better. I think he
It,
got more known name wise in
right.
WWE because of Heenan, but he got as far as championship reigns going back to
Right. I think he had
WCW
a better
worked.
career in WCW than WWE.
I say then on top of
Right.
that you had Paul Heyman
And Medusa.
and Medusa.
Yeah.
I said had not been for that injury, he probably
Yep.
would have
He
been the
probably would have
WCW
still been
champion.
wrestling today. Like back then. Back
I
in
won't be
he
surprised.
had before he passed, they said he was returning for a comeback. You know. Yeah, he could
Right.
still probably be wrestling today if it weren't for that injury. I mean, at the time, it was around '94 when that happened. Yeah, and
Yep.
if he didn't get injured, then Rude would still been wrestling then, and he would been definitely a world champion for a long time.
Oh, no
So,
doubt. Let's, speaking of champion, let's talk about Raven. Should Raven been U.S. champion?
at the time, it made sense. Raven was hot after ECW, so that name, it was still there. That aura Raven. You know, now him winning the title. I think it was all right. I was kind of on the fence with that. I was cool with the flock and what they was doing. With Sick Boy and Hammond, Van Hammond, all them. Um, at the time, I didn't think about it at the time. Like, oh wow, Raven got a championship. That's cool. But you looking back, you kind of like,
I'm, I'm gonna tell you what blew that because he won, I
yeah,
believe, at Spring Stampede and lost
yeah,
it the next night to Goldberg.
that's,
So again,
hmm
transitional. And he didn't win another belt again
Saturn,
till
yeah,
what? When him and Saturn
hmm
got back together
right,
and won the tag belt. And that's what that was that storyline when he was like when he was
right.
there, but he wasn't under contract. I see. I should have asked this question when we was talking about the horse. But what were your thoughts on Mongo?
You
like
know what?
Michael.
I mean, you know what? I just thought of this. He actually was a good horseman. He could, people,
Oh yeah, I agree.
crap on him about being a horseman, but when Arn Anderson says that you was good, at what you did in the horseman, that says a lot coming from Arn Anderson. You know, if Arn like you, then
But and
yeah,
you think about it. You got a Super Bowl
yeah,
winning player
he could talk too.
in the horseman. He didn't have to. He didn't have to know. Hey, he can talk. He had
Yeah,
that. He had to know how to wrestle.
mm-mm.
That wasn't for
He
him to
was a good
do.
talker.
Like I said, he did what he
Yeah,
could. Even when he left the horseman, he was
yeah,
he was the mid Carter. He did what he. His role was to be
mm-hmm.
the name. That's it. Your name, your credibility. That's it. You was a big mouth,
Yeah.
big dude with a
Because
big
you would
mouth,
think that Arn was like we wasn't cool with it,
and
but he
you gotta have.
was. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you gotta have a big thing. Just like prime example, just like when Dennis
yeah.
Rodman went to the NWO, same thing.
Yeah.
You put that big name in there, and you
Like
nailed
kind of like Carl with DDP when they were teaming up.
it. And no, we talking about Mongo. Let's talk about Kevin Green. Should Kevin Green have wrestled more?
For what he was okay. You know, for what he did. Whoever trained him, they did a good job with him. But I think his was for the short term. You know, that's just my guess. My opinion on that. Yeah, I think it was just short term for him. You know.
To me, it just didn't look right. Because like because Mongo kind of had more charisma, and like I said, he was around the
Oh
right
yeah.
people that could make him look good. Kevin Green, yeah, he was cool with Hogan and Savage and all them, but it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't convinced that you really wanted to do it. Like when Mongo came in, even when he was on Nitro, I'm like they pretty much set that up
Yeah.
for him to shine. Let's talk about the Macho Man. And this is an interesting one. What were your thoughts on Savage's short WCW title reigns? Every time he won the title, he lose
I
it the
didn't
next night
understand
to
that at
Hogan.
all. That kind of diminished him a little bit near the end of his career. You know, um, I think what kind of revitalized it a little bit was him joining the NWO finally. You know, and then having Miss Elizabeth back with him. That kind of, of course, the reason I say that is the matches he had with DDP. You know, that are still talked about to this
Right.
day. They had awesome matches.
Oh
Every
yeah.
match they had.
Because I talk about because the first time
Yeah.
he won World War III. Then the second time he won it
Lost
at
to
Spring
Hogan. Yeah.
Stampede, lost it to Hogan. Then he won it at
Was it
Bash at the
Bashby?
Beach,
Yeah.
and then lost in
Yeah.
that tag team match
Yeah.
with Team
Yeah,
Madness
that's right.
against Sting and Nash,
Hmm.
and then lost it to Hogan. I believe the first time I think he lost it to Flair. I think the on his first reign. But I mean, they get to kind of like with Sting. When Sting in WCW, every time he got a title, now he had
Yeah.
short reigns. But every time Savage got it,
Yeah.
you lose
I
the
didn't
next night. What
understand
was the
that.
point?
Now when he first came in WCW, everything was all good. It just later on in his career, that's when everything was messed up with creative, I guess. Just I didn't understand it then. Why would they do that?
People been asking me, should I ask it? No, people always talked about it. I'm asking. I pretty much know where you gonna go with that. We even talked about it in a prior podcast. But should David Arquette
No,
been WCW champion?
no,
And if so,
not at that
why?
time. Not at all, actually. The dude was an actor. He wasn't really a wrestler. You know. Now, if he was, uh, like right now, he What I'm trying to say, he, yeah,
Yeah, he
he
out on
actually
that he on
doing
that
it,
grind now. He actually
and I
doing it.
commend him for that. You know, but back then, no, he did not deserve that. You got Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Lou Thesz, um, all these guys that held the NWA title, and then you put him in there with them. It kind of was a spit in the face to the wrestling business doing that. You know, at that time. Mm,
I would have went with it. I would have went with it only if that movie would have if that movie would have been hot. If that movie would have made a lot of money, been like one of the top grossing movies, I would have rolled with it.
yeah,
Like I said, he didn't want to do it. He kind of got thrown into do it. He just
yeah,
took that money and gave it to charity. The way they wrote it made sense. Like he got beat up real bad, and he just pretty much just kind of just took the fall. The way they wrote it made, it was a good way they wrote it. The way they ended it
yeah,
at Slamboree was what I
yeah,
didn't like. Because you damn near could have
yeah. I
killed
guess that's
Kane
what
that
I was
night.
trying, think about was that slamboree. Yeah,
Because that pretty much was a dead
yeah,
giveaway on how that match was going to end. I'm like, no. But like I said, I agree with you. If David Arquette now, if they would have did it, I would agree with it. Because like I said, he out there on that grind. He straight up in these reps. He taking them bumps. And I still want to see that
yeah.
movie he did when he talked about all that. We are running close to the end. We're running close to the end. See, we ain't even gonna talk about War and Bread. We already talked about that. Okay, I got one for you. Do you consider Sting the
Oh
franchise of
yes,
WCW?
Sting. Sting was the hottest thing in WCW. He was like the Hulk Hogan of WCW before Hogan came in. You know. Oh yeah, he deserved every bit of that. He was the franchise. He was the top guy. The crowd loved him. You couldn't turn him heel. He wasn't them guy like Steamboat.
And they did. And they did in
I didn't. I
'99.
didn't really believe it. I couldn't get into that. I didn't believe it. It was just one of those things. Like, nah, you can't fool me. They tried with that. In my opinion, you know, I don't. But yeah, he was the franchise, no doubt about it. Even when his matches with Ric Flair, you know, even starting back at the Great American Bash, you saw a star there. You know,
So you do take. Wait a minute, no, I take it back. You talk about the
first class
first
champion. Yeah,
Clash of Champions.
that very first match with Ric Flair, you could see there was a star there. I said, and when I first saw, I said, this dude gonna be good one day.
Right,
And
and
there you go. Lo and behold, yeah,
you know what? We gonna close it with this question, and I kept this one for last because I thought it was good, and it's definitely something to think about. If WCW was around today, would AEW be?
I think AEW would be like an indie promotion. If WCW was around today, because the WCW was a juggernaut, So I see AEW more like an indie promote, like the Ring of Honors and all that, you know, and Impact,
And
yeah,
and most of
uh
like
huh,
Impact. Now I would say WCW was around. It would depend on a couple of things. One, are they on their own, or
yeah,
the WWE on them? That would be the question I would add to that. If they were on their own, I think both AEW and WCW will be like
yeah,
Ring of Honor and Impact. I don't think none of them will be as big. And I think WCW will slowly it'll kind of water it down a little bit, depending who's still there, who's still on that brand, or would they? My question would be: Are they gonna
yeah,
redo it, just start from scratch? Excuse me. make some new stars or what. It would all depend on who's on that roster
That's true.
and what direction they going in. Well, but like I said, if I think AEW, I say is AEW the
No.
new WCW? I would say no. Like I said, I just hope they
Yeah.
continue the route that they're going. Don't overlap it with. Don't bring all these big names in, and don't forget about the young talent. Don't forget about the guys.
Right.
Don't forget about your homegrown guys.
Only time you bring like the
Trying to go with it.
old school people in is they got to have some sort of a purpose there. That's the only thing. If you're gonna bring them in,
Right.
have them do something. Just don't just like WCW just used to sign every top guy that would leave WWE. You know what I mean, or whoever. Make them have some sort of purpose there.
Right. That's why I appreciate AEW. That's why I'm glad they got dark. Because that's pretty much, like I said, the audition tape for all these young guys. You go on there, you look good. Yeah, you probably gonna lose, but that's your chance to show them what you all about. And that's pretty much they back up. Still on Patreon, still on YouTube, but people, are getting to see you. So you go on there, and I'm pretty sure they're not paying them like sky high money to do it. But that's a big opportunity. But ladies and gentlemen, we got through it. We got through it, and I'm gonna say this again. I apologize for the show being gone for might well say 2 months or 6 weeks or whatnot, but we're gonna get back consistent. We're gonna get back on the road. Looks like all our technical issues going out the window. We can get back and getting back talking about stuff we like. Talk about wrestling, because like I said, a lot's been going on, a lot we can talk about. We're definitely gonna do a TLC prediction show, probably on Friday. But that's definitely gonna be something we definitely need to talk about, get some input on that. But again, hope you guys enjoyed this show. It's once we get done, it's gonna be on the Snap Customs page, www.snapcustoms.com. If you're interested in getting a custom action figure, hit us up on the on our message. We'll give you some quotes on that. Bad Superman TV on YouTube. That is my personal YouTube channel. Has some wrestling stuff on there. A lot of independent stuff. A lot of USA Championship Wrestling stuff. Like it, share it, subscribe it. And once I hit another show, which probably be, I want to say next week, probably add some more matches on there. But until then, we about to get out here. It is your boy, the bad Superman, DarnellSparrow, the notorious one, Antoine Smooth on the other end. And we will see you guys on Friday for the TLC prediction show. Until then,
Peace.
as always, get snapped.